Tirmidhi, rahimahullah, and the chapter tonight is going to be Babu Ma Ja'a Fi Libasi Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's going to talk about something regarding what he wore. And aside from the hadith I'm going to recite tonight, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, as well known, كان يحب القميص من الثياب. He liked al-qamis. The word qamis is used today to refer to a shirt that has buttons all along until the end. That's what we use today. At least that's the norm for the Syrians. I don't know if it's used differently in other countries or not. And I learned this when I was looking into the terminology. But for the Arab back then, al-qamis was whatever was worn on top and went down to your knees or beyond. So a galabiya today would be seen as a qamis. And what is called libas Pakistani or Afghani, as the brother is wearing here, is also called a qamis. And the shirt that you're wearing is technically a qamis, but it's not long enough to be called that in the custom of the Arab, in their urf, because you're not covering. A qamis is something you can wear and not wear anything else and still cover your awra with it. So it goes down to at least your knees or so. فكان يحب القميص عليه الصلاة والسلام. There's all these different things you can wear, but that's what he liked to wear عليه الصلاة والسلام. His life, and he liked to wear it, and he liked the white color of it. He liked to wear الأبيض من الثياب عليه الصلاة والسلام. Regarding all that, regardless of all that, this is the hadith that I'm going to narrate for you tonight, narrated by Abu Dawood as well. It has a authentic narration. قال حدثنا سويد بن نصر حدثنا عبد الله بن المبارك عن سعيد بن إياس الجريري عن أبي نضرة عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إذا استجد ثوبا سماه باسمه عمامة أو قميصا أو رداء. The Prophet ﷺ, if he bought or received a new piece of clothing, he used its name in the following dua. He makes a dua ﷺ, and he uses the name of what it is. He doesn't just say this, he says qamis or aba'a or rida or imama. If he gets an imama, if he's wearing aba'a, if he's wearing a rida, something under, or whatever he's wearing, he uses the name, and he would say the following. ثم يقول اللهم لك الحمد كما كسوتنيه. Oh Allah, you are praiseworthy, and I am grateful to you for as you have granted me the opportunity or the blessing of wearing this. Instead of saying كسوتنيه, he will say كما كسوتني هذه العمامة, or كما كسوتني هذه العباءة, or هذا الرداء, or هذا القميص. He would use the name of whatever he was wearing عليه الصلاة والسلام. أسألك خيره وَخَيْرَ مَا صُنِعَ لَهُ. I ask you for the benefit and the khayr and the goodness within this new piece of clothing and that which it was made for. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ شَرِّهِ وَشَرِّ مَا صُنِعَ لَهُ. And I seek refuge in you from the evil that it carries and the evil for what it was made for. Meaning, alayhi salatu wasalam sees what he was given, everything that he receives, alayhi salatu wasalam. There's potential of khayr in it and there's potential of the opposite. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be granted the potential of all that is good within it. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect him from the potential of all that is shar in it. Whether that khayr and shar are going to come to him externally from it, or whether he ends up using this in a good way or a bad way. So when you make this dua, you are turning back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asking that whatever He granted you that is new, whatever He gave you in terms of clothing, that you're going to use it for something that is khayr and not for something that is shar. And that is the sunnah of what he did alayhi salatu wasalam whenever he wore a new piece of clothing. And I think it's a sunnah worthy of sharing. And that's really the sunnah I care for. Meaning, so if I teach you and I can spend time, we can spend like maybe half an hour or even more, wallah, talking about all the different types of clothing he wore alayhi salatu wasalam in his life, which are many. And you may find that very enjoyable. I know you will. To find out the different colors of imama that he wore. And how he would take the little piece of imama, وَيَسْجِلُهَا بَيْنَ كَتِفَيْهِ, and be a little bit of a piece that goes between the shoulders. And the colors would be sometimes green, sometimes black, sometimes white. When he wore clothing, he liked the white, but he would wear clothing that had different stripes in them, especially red stripes, he liked that. He sometimes wore clothing that were green. He had different things that he wore. He had styles, alayhi salatu wasalam, that he liked to wear. And all that is great. But what's the point if you don't end up following the sunnah in how you dress? If you're not dressing like him in terms of the essence or the spirit of how he dressed, alayhi salatu wasalam, where you see what you were granted by the clothing that you're wearing as a blessing given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you don't see that this is something that you can either use for khayr or use for shar, so you ask Allah to grant you the ability to use it in a way that is positive, a way that will please Him, not in a way that will later on Yawm al-Qiyamah cause you to be in regret. And that's how he thought, alayhi salatu wasalam. He didn't care about the types of clothing, whatever was available he wore. He wasn't picky about these things, alayhi salatu wasalam. He tried to wear stylishly, but whatever was available he wore. But really it was the essence of how he felt about what he wore, alayhi salatu wasalam, that I want to share with you. And I find this dua that he makes here to be to represent that in a beautiful way. يروي الإمام الترمذي في جامعه بسند صحيح عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال: كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إذا استجد ثوبا سماه باسمه عمامة أو قميصا أو رداء ثم يقول: اللهم لك الحمد كما كسوتنيه، أسألك خيره وخير ما صنع له، وأعوذ بك من شره وشر ما صنع له. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا وحبيبنا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خير.